product launch for Knowledge Gym. And as you might know, Blue Elephant Solutions, we already have a knowledge retention solution out there. It's called Knowledge Empire, a very gamified learning solution. And today, the go live of Knowledge Gym. Knowledge Gym is a different interface. It has different features, but it's actually using the same database. And you and your learners, you can use both applications, actually not really simultaneously at the exact same moment, but you can do 1 hour training on one app, and the next day you use the other solution. All the data is getting the data from the same database in the same manner, and they're interoperable. So that's really crazy and amazing feature, I think. But let's have a look on why we do knowledge retention solutions. When I have been in this industry of adult learning, I noticed a very big gap. And there is good learning management systems in place, this one-off learning. But reality is that 90% of what people learn is forgotten after just 1 month. And even 50% after a week. It's really strong numbers. But the asterisk here is if not applied or repeated. So whenever you do a learning in your company, you always want to try to apply the learning, to repeat what you have learned, to slow down this forgetting curve. And you can do this with coaching sessions, or you can do this with automated tools that streamline this. And a second key factor is you're not just sharing knowledge with your employees because you want them to know this, but you want to change their behavior. You want to change habits. And it takes an average 66 days to form a new habit. Depends a little bit on what kind of habit it is. And the numbers are quite broad. The range is quite broad, but it's not just a one-off thing. Everybody is clear on this. You need to do it multiple times over a longer period of time. And this is what we really want to focus on. So our belief in terms of what is the key to actions and results in your organization are the forming of doing the repetitions and the forming of habits. So you start with the training to build up skills and capabilities, but then you need this step in between, this repetition, this applying this knowledge to really form successful habits that then lead to actions and help companies to achieve results. So everything starts with building up this knowledge. You have a learning management system in place for this, or you can also use our solution, I would say, for simple build up of knowledge and skills that are not too complex. But if you have relatively complex things, you might want to use other learning management systems which are out there, which have VR and augmented reality and really super interesting learning features, or live sessions with trainers. They're actually not replaceable with anything that IT can offer, I think. So you have this system in place, or you can use our solution for this. But then what very often happens in companies is this forgetting curve that Jonja mentioned earlier. People extremely fast forget what they have learned. And this is where you need to have some kind of knowledge retention system in place. You can do this with coaches. You can do this with reminder emails that you send out, but you can also do it with an automated solution. And we here propose now the second solution to do this, and we use the technology or the technique called spaced repetition for this. So we're not only repeating it every week on a fixed basis, but the repetitions, they spread out over time, because we know once you have heard something once or twice or 3 times, the rate in which you forget will slow down over time. So you can do the repetitions in a spaced manner. And I come later to one of the key features that we have built in here to even optimize this repetition. And this is then what really leads to actions that leads to results. Let's have a look at the key features of actually both knowledge retention solutions. So we strongly follow a mobile-first strategy because we want to make this learning very time and place independent. So you don't need to sit in front of your computer and waste proper working time. You can do this in a break, in a coffee break. You can do it on the way to work. You can do it whenever you have some, maybe you're waiting in a call and the call is starting in 5 minutes. You can do a few of those assessments. The second key feature here is that we use spaced repetition to have a more effective and efficient learning. And we even personalize this spaced repetition with an AI algorithm that learns your individual forgetting curve. So in which repetition cycle do you forget in which time span, and then really tries to optimize this for you. There's a lot of gamification elements in there. I'm going to mention them later, like a leaderboard and badges you can earn and things like this. And we always recommend to use this app in conjunction with micro scenarios. So don't just ask simple questions like in which paragraph in our guidelines is this and this mentioned, but really try to make it an applicable knowledge. So you're in front of a customer, the customer asks you this and this, what's your best reaction to this? And then when we look at the back end side of things, there is, of course, custom reports that you can draw on how different people are performing. You have a long-term monitoring, not a one-time snapshot, but you can really monitor the learning experience of your employees over a long time. But you can also see what kind of questions might be difficult, where we might have an interaction with a real coach to help the learner to work on this a little bit more. We also offer the possibility to develop custom learning types. So the next speaker actually in the row here will mention one of the learning types that we have developed for them. We also build custom interfaces to existing learning management systems because we don't have the goal to replace your learning management system. That's, there's a good reason why you have this, but most likely it doesn't have anything in terms of retention. And this is why we really smoothly dock in with this and integrate with your learning management system to continue this learning experience. And we offer, of course, on-premise hosting. On-premise hosting means we have the data either in our data centers or AWS servers worldwide, or if you say we have very restricted data that is highly sensible, you have the option to host it on your own servers. And then, of course, we can also anonymize the users. So if there is rules and regulations from your government saying you're not allowed to see certain statistics about your employees, or the employees shouldn't see how they are performing against each other, then this is an option that we can set here. Let me quickly share with you a little bit on what the solution looks like. And I'm actually going to use my laser pointer function here. So when you start the solution, you actually see the first question. So we call it actually the Tinder of learning. In Tinder, you get the first picture, you swipe left or right, and then you get the next one. There's not a big search functionality. And the same here. The algorithm brings up the first question it thinks is really relevant for you to repeat and to refresh the knowledge on. And then you can, of course, still kind of swipe here. So you swipe up the screen, you can read the answer options, you select the answer options you think are true, you click on submit, and you get this direct feedback saying, in this case, sorry, that was an incorrect answer. And you can again swipe down, you can have a look, there could be a video explaining something, there could be a picture, an explanation text, and you even have the options to contact an expert, which would trigger an email to an expert that is set for every individual question. Or you can also embed a link for more information, and that could link to external video, it could link to another training, it could link to a PDF document in your intranet. All of this is possible. So this is really the question section where you don't really do long training. So after this question, you just click the next button and you will answer the next question. And you just do question by question by question, same as you do it in Tinder. The second functionality, and that is also really new in this version Knowledge Gym, is that we give you a much more detailed insight into the learning modules. So in this case, we have 3 different learning modules. And if we click, for example, on this one, we get a detailed overview of what this learning module is about. We see that we have subscribed to this one. We can also download it to our phone. So even we can do it when we don't have any connection. And then we have a list of all the questions that belong to this learning module. And I can either pick individual questions to either have a look or redo this question. And I can also do the entire module in one flow. In Knowledge Empire, that was not possible, but we heard our customer wishes to really focus on this. So if we click on one of the questions here, we see the question. In this case, it actually has a video included. If you click on the video, you can see it in both orientations. So you can flip the orientation to see it in a big screen as well. Then you close it again. You scroll up, you check the answers, you select the answer you think is right. You click on submit, you get the direct feedback on how you have performed. You can scroll down again, you get the explanation. There's an individual picture or video you can attach. In this case, there's no contact information given for an expert, but you still can look into more information and you can go to the next question. Similar in terms of functionality, that was also in Knowledge Empire. We also have in this version a ranking, achievements, rewards, performance, team, and challenges. And I'm not going into too much details. I'm just going to click through this different screens here that you have seen them. But this is similar functionality that we also had in the previous version. Good. Backend stays the same. So this is really the great feature. You do one user management and they can use both apps, Knowledge Gym and Knowledge Empire, at the same time. You can, of course, manage all the user groups, the learning modules. You can manage certificates. So there's an automation for certification. You can have rewards in the system. And of course, a bunch of company settings, which we're very happy to showcase you in a one-on-one session. I'm not going to go through them today. And we also have been recognized in the last year, or this year, which is ending now, by multiple organizations as leader in learning and development for digital transformation, tech startup of the year, global leader in knowledge retention solutions, and also won a prize by the InnovGem in Singapore for solutions to overcome L&D challenges. And also the ratings of our existing solution, Knowledge Empire, in the standard platforms is quite high. If you have any questions, so we are the #1 in knowledge retention solutions worldwide. We have a team that is covering pretty much the entire globe. Here is the contacts. At the bottom is a QR code, which you can scan to come to our website, where you can also find the contact information again. And we're super happy to discuss with you on how knowledge retention could be really improving your learning experience in your organizations. It doesn't need to be with our software. We also do custom developments, and we also do just consulting, if that is something you're looking for. So thank you very much. And now we can look into some real life cases of companies and organizations that are using knowledge retention solutions.